Does this mic work?
Hello?
Well then, fuck that mic!
What are we doing? What are we doing?
You're listening to the only podcast that admits they might know what they are talking about.
Because they came to whose house?
This is We Might Know Sports.
I love you!
I hope everyone has a ball.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen.
With Stefan.
Yeah, that's nice.
Kevin.
I think it's gonna work this time.
And Cory.
You should have started reeling because I've been all over that.
We like sports and we don't care who knows.
I feel like I just destroyed my life in general.
No forget Jesus, people!
Solid A+.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
There's a no-hitter right now. Bottom of the 7th. Oh, never mind. No longer a no-hitter.
Wow!
Yeah, well, who'd you say stuff on?
Darby? Yeah, say my name right if you're gonna come on this fucking show, dude. I said Sam Darby. Sam Darby for Heisman.
Sam Darnold?
Darnold, whatever his name is. Ronald.
Say his name right if you're on this damn show.
And here we go.
And I am here with longtime special guest, Ben, our MMA expert. It's been a while. I think it's been at least two months since UFC 214 and John Jones and all his shenanigans. But I wanted to bring Ben back on to discuss UFC 217 because there's 3 title belts on the line, and there's a lot going on in this fight. At least in the main card. We're going to go over some early prelims, because there's some important players, I think, involved in that. The main prelims, not a big fan. Not going to lie. What about you, Ben? You a fan of these?
Just looking through them, no. I think that the early prelims have a lot more interesting fights on them. I'm not familiar with most of the people on the regular prelim card, but if I was just going to make a guess, the regular prelim card has a lot of people who are probably going to throw some serious leather, and that would probably attract more viewers, which it seems that UFC desperately needs at this point.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little more about their limited star power after this talk about the main card. And let's start off with Ovince St. Preux versus Cory Overtime Anderson. Ovince St. Preux, also known as the guy that took John Jones on, probably the only guy that's fought John Jones clean. And you like my air quotes there? Clean. I do. Because, you never know. He's 34 years old, 6'3", 205 pounds, obviously, with an 80-inch reach. It'd be interesting to have seen him with more time to prepare. He's had 3 performances of the night and 1 fight of the night. So obviously he's going to put up a good show in this Fight Pass prelim. Who are you? Anderson, do you know anything about Cory Anderson? This is a 6'7" matchup in a very light heavyweight division now.
My understanding is Cory Anderson has a background in wrestling, and he was on the Ultimate Fighter TV show, the reality show. I believe he's got some sort of collegiate wrestling background, and I think Ovince St. Preux has some sort of football background. Am I mixing this up?
No, he came from Tennessee.
Yeah, so I bet you they're both quite athletic, but I bet you that Cory will be able to dictate where it all takes place based on his wrestling background. Of course.
I don't know. I think St. Preux has been pretty steady lately. I think his only loss has been to Jones lately.
Is that true? I thought.
Yeah, he lost to Jones, and then he also lost a knockout and a split decision, but he's won 2 in a row.
He got knocked out by Jimmy Manuel, yeah?
Well, who doesn't get knocked out by him?
Well, who did Jimmy just get beat by?
I mean, Jimmy got beat by Uzdemir, who's Ovince St. Preux's last loss, so.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad losses.
Doesn't add up again. That's what Joe Rogan always does, right?
I mean, it just you go loss for a belt, loss against Jimmy Manuel, loss against Uzdemir. Now he's on his upswing because he's beaten some no names that I have no idea. DeLima and Yushin Okami, I believe his name.
Used to be, he was regarded as one of the better people, and I think he even went against Anderson Silva, and people were like, "Oh, he has a good chance." And I think he fell from stardom, and he's been competing in various other organizations. And if I remember correctly, that was his first fight back in some time, and he was less than capable looking when he fought. He didn't put on a good performance.
I mean, you were talking about Corey Anderson's wrestling, but I forgot about Ovince St. Preux and how he's had 2 Von Flue chokes submissions in a row.
More than 2, right?
He's had 2 in a row, and I'm looking. He had a third one back UFC 171, and that looks like it. So, don't sleep on his ground game. Does he make?
It takes a strong dude to pull that off, and I think a lot of people aren't prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like once they kind of know what's going on, it's already too late. But you got to imagine
he's got to be prepared for it.
Yeah, Cory being susceptible to that exact position. He probably, his trainer, hopefully would say, "Careful of the Von Flute choke." This is the Von Flute guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because someone we're going to talk about later as well that's fighting on this card has a specialty choke that he seems to catch everybody with, huh?
We'll talk a little bit. Right now, though, I think St. Preux is going to win. I don't think it's going to be submission. I think it's going to be a knockout. Something a little bit different. He's had 48% knockout rate, but I see another one in his future.
What's going on with Michael Bisping's face?
What?
Is your mic a scar from the Lion King?
All right, we're not talking about Bisping yet. Jeez. Let's talk about Olenek and Blades for a second here. And Olenek and Blades. Blades was a hot prospect. He's 7-1 in the old decrepit heavyweight division. He's got 86% knockout rate. We'll see if he can continue that going on against Olenek, the boa constrictor. 77% submission rate. I mean, that's going to be an interesting matchup of styles. Cory's always a big proponent of styles. What style do you think usually will win in this type of fight? Experience with submissions or a knockout young gun?
I think experience and submissions is the safer route. The young guns, they can land a devastating blow, but it's probably more than a puncher's chance because they've got a bit more recovery and things being younger, but the lack of experience. Look at this. 52, 10, and 1. That's a lot of fights, my man.
He's also given up 25 pounds to Blades, though.
So Blades could go out in a Blades of glory with a knockout, or he could gas himself out, and Alexei could get him with the Ezekiel choke, like he always does.
I do remember talking about Blades, and it was kind of He looked gas in his last fight, but he did win. I remember that, and so definitely something to look out for on that last prelim, early prelim.
86% knockout, but he has 0 subs and 0 decisions. He needs to get something, otherwise he's fucked. It's okay to say fucked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the explicit mark on iTunes.
Let's make use of that.
Well then, for fuck's sake, no. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'll go with Blades just because he's the new hotness, and the heavyweight division needs something. Old.
I'm still wondering what 6-pack I want to.
I don't know. I was gonna ask you that. Technically, it's a no contest now, so
I don't know about that.
I think we might have to put this to vote on the podcast. I'll let Stefan and Cory vote.
Oh, please. Yeah. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. Cory's might be on your side. Stefan might be on mine. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
He's still calling Demetrius Johnson a midget, so
He did.
he still is.
Demetrius Johnson, dude, that submission was fucking epic, man.
Yeah, it was. Best way you could get number 11. Greatest MMA fighter in your mind?
One of the greatest. I have a hard time with the whole best pound for pound or the greatest ever, those kinds of statements. The guy's amazing, and I'd like to leave it at that.
Is he on your Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, he's great. Well, the thing is that there's so many people who are specialists in certain things, and they can pull it off, and that's impressive in and of itself. He's very well-rounded. He's got outstanding conditioning, and he's certainly demonstrated that he owns that division in the current state of things. But best ever, it's another story.
I'm interested to hear what Stefan said, because he doesn't consider them MMA fighters. They just consider them midget fighters, or little people, I believe, is what he says.
Including Garbrandt and those guys too.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. We'll have to wait and see at the beginning of next week's podcast.
Fuck. I've got 15% battery remaining, just a heads up.
All right. So let's move on to the main card then. Johnny Hendricks versus Paulo Borrachina. I have no idea. Young gun out of Brazil versus Fat Man from Johnny Hendricks. Yeah. Is he going to make weight this time, or is this...
I think he's making too much weight too frequently. He likes his burgers. You know, Johnny Hendricks, they call him the Big Rig.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought his nickname should have been Honey Badger. That's kind of what he looks like. He stays in the pocket. He absorbs the shots in his beard, but I don't think he looks like a Big Rig. I think he looks like a Honey Badger. Anyways, moving right along. Not too familiar with Paulo, although 10-0 is pretty impressive. He looks like a brawler with his 90% KOs, 100% finishes. That's impressive as well. But if you look at his significant strikes landed per minute, 8.8.
I think very few fighters are in that line. I think Conor McGregor's up there, but 8.8, damn.
8.8 is huge. I think they're going to test Johnny Hendricks' chin with this fighter, Paulo.
If he makes weight.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
That one's first on the pay-per-view. By then, maybe we'll have some beer brats in us. Maybe we'll be doing some beer brats. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe we'll be doing a live stream too. Who knows? Thompson Masvidal. This is Thompson's Wonder Boy Thompson's first fight since his title match, I believe.
There was back-to-back title fights.
Yeah. And hopefully it's a little more entertaining this time.
Yep. Well, Masvidal, actually, he impressed me. I didn't think he was that great for a long time, but he seems to consistently always have the right winning attitude. Certainly quite a bit of experience. I believe he came out of the backyard fights like with Kimbo and those guys.
I mean, yeah, from Miami, fights out of Miami, so I definitely see that. His last fight was a split decision to Damian Maia. I remember that, and that could have easily gone either way.
Thompson's pretty flashy, and he can catch you with some stuff, but I think that he relies on that. Like, his stance opens him up to people who, if they've figured out a way around it, then Thompson's fucked. Like, if you remember when Thompson was fighting against, God damn it, what's his name? The current champion?
Woodley?
Yeah, Woodley. When Woodley just uncorked and exploded on him, Thompson his movement was neutralized. He couldn't do anything. So if you just catch Thompson and time him out, which I think Jorge excels in, that kind of thing, it's trouble. It's a very weak defense. His defense is movement. But just like with Lyoto Machida, if you move and someone's expecting that, then you're kind of fucked. I'm going to give it to Jorge Masvidal.
Jorge. Hip, hip, Jorge. Yeah, I can see it going Masvidal, too. I was not impressed with his 2 fights in the championship belts, and I'm hoping for Masvidal because I'd rather see a show in that title fight, and I think Masvidal could provide it.
Yeah, agreed. So we got Pat Barry's girlfriend and
the fastest fighter in the world, in my opinion. She lands about 200 punches a fight. Joanna. I'm just going to call her Joanna. Not even going to try to pronounce her last name.
It was on the Joe Rogan Experience where they're like, for $1 million, could you spell her last name right now? It's like, absolutely not.
Yep. He's like, they have it pronunciated for me phonetically so I don't mess it up when I'm on stage. And
yeah.
I need that. I know Rose Namajunas just because she was on UFC Unfiltered and she helped Matt Serra pronounce it. And if anyone can help Matt Serra say anything, it'll help me. So
yeah,
they need to have that with all the fighters. Just have what's I just love Matt Serra.
Strong Island. Yeah, that's good.
This one, I'm kind of conflicted because I like Rose and I like Joanna both. With 115, do you think 115's an end all for Joanna, or do you see her moving up to 125 if she keeps winning?
Joanna?
Yes.
I think she's gonna stay there.
She's gonna pull Demetrius Johnson.
That's where she is. I bet you she's gonna get some pressure from UFC to switch or mix it up a little bit. But she's running that division. What is it to her to move up?
Just looking at some stats here, she's had the belt for 6 fights now, so this will be her seventh title belt fight and 6th defense. Her strikes in all of her fights. Her first title fight, 53, 126 in the second, both of them by knockouts, and then the last 4 have been by decision. 220, 176, 171, and 225. And the closest one to get anywhere near was Valerie Latourmeux back in UFC in 193 at 103. So a lot of punches coming from her.
Yeah. It's impressive.
Rose likes to take it to the ground. 86% submission rate, no knockouts in her young record. Although Rose has only had 10 fights, I just don't see her overpowering Joanna. Joanna is a great defense. Takedown defended is 81%.
You're not going to round it to 82?
81.6.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I got to give this one to her. I think it's going to be by decision again, though. I don't see her knocking her out.
Well, her knockouts are few and far between. Yeah, maybe she'll try to make that statement. You know, I'm sure she hears from people. Yeah, you throw a lot of punches and stuff, but let's get some power behind it. She's probably trying to do stuff. I think with Joanna, she always wants to improve somehow. And when you're beating everybody, how do you show that? So maybe she'll make a statement on Rose's face. Rose will be game for that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She's a game fighter for sure.
And then, in the fight that didn't happen back in July, Cody Garbrandt versus TJ Dillashaw. Cody had a back injury. That's why this fight was delayed. He's coming back in NYC. Young gun, big mouth, TJ Dillashaw. There's that past training knockout, supposedly. The video has been surfaced. I guess you can go and watch it if you really wanted to. And, I mean, I just don't like TJ. I'm not a huge Cody fan either. I mean, I have no issues. I'm just not a fan of the California crew down there.
You're at Faber?
Yeah.
What about Cruz?
I don't like Cruz either.
You don't like anyone in that division is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, because they all are like little, I don't know, just ego.
You're just like Stefan. You're just like Stefan, aren't you?
It's not. I like watching them fight because they go after each other. I just don't like anyone in that division. I don't like their attitudes. I don't like their way of thinking. I have no problem with midget fighting, as Stefan calls it. I actually prefer the 135s because they go after each other. I mean, look at this. 82 knockout percentage for Cody, 40 for TJ. And if they're not going with that, it's a submission, maybe. But they go the length. They don't get gassed out as easy as these bigger guys. So I definitely am looking forward to this fight. And whoever wins, I'm not going to be excited about it, but I'll be excited about whatever happens because it's probably going to be a good show.
Here's an interesting stat that I didn't realize. 100% takedown defense for Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, that's true because I remember we were watching the Cruz fight and we suspected that Cruz hurt his hand. And I don't know if that was fully confirmed. I think it was. And he had a hard time going after Cody during that fight. It's the only real fight I've really watched Garbrandt because he's such a young kid.
So he's been knocking people out pretty early, so that's probably not given much of an opportunity. I wish I could see how many takedowns went into that stat. Takedown attempts, I should say. Well, I think I'm excited for this fight. It's my phone's dying. Powering off.
All right.
That's it. I think Cody wins, and I think GSP wins as well.
Well, that was an abrupt end. And we lost them. Well, there you have it. He says GSP. I think Bisbing. I didn't get to ask Cory's question. Sorry, Cory. To continue, maybe.
Doesn't taste like pineapple. I gotta get a few more sips in. Because I just brushed my teeth. No. Oh, I hear you. Yeah, we hear you. No.
All right, maybe we'll just do it this way. So now they can hear me, but they can't hear you. But I can hear you, so they can hear me. And now you guys are going to be able to hear me right now. Now you can hear me.
Wow.
See, doing a little behind the scenes magic. I need to have like a please stand by technical difficulty screen or something.
Yeah.
So welcome, gentlemen. You're here. I'm here.
Hold on.
Quite the weekend. Lots to talk about. And let's pick up where Ben and I left off, where we were so abruptly cut off. So, did you guys want to weigh in on the Joanna Rose fight first?
Sure.
Would love to, actually.
Go ahead then.
Take it away.
Well, I mean, as much as Rose Namajunas likes to claim that she's a thug, I'm just not seeing it happening. I mean, maybe if she can pin her down for a submission or something, but I think we're going to see the champ come out on top on this one.
Well, sorry, I was testing my mic and I didn't realize it's still broadcasting. That's cool. What about you, Cory?
I think Joanna's going to take Rose out early, honestly. I think first round knockout, probably. Maybe TKO. But I think it'll be exciting while it lasts, but I think it's not going to last that long. Maybe 2 minutes, 2:30.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. And then I ended with Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw with Ben. I forgot who. I think he said Garbrandt. I'm going with Garbrandt at least.
Yeah, I think I heard him say Cody.
I mean, just the fact that he's already a champion at his young age, and the UFC kind of needs him more than anything. So we'll see if he actually wins by knockout. I'm saying knockout in the third round.
I say knockout in the second round by Cody. This is another fight that should be pretty entertaining. Dillashaw's pretty scrappy and actually pretty durable too. So we'll see what kind of punches he can really take because Cody's a pretty hard striker. But Cody does have that 82% KO. KO percentage pretty high. I think second round. Looking at second round again.
I'm gonna be the odd man out here. I'm gonna go Dillashaw. Don't know what round. Some round. somewhere in that match.
Somewhere.
I'll just give him the advantage. I mean, he's got a little bit of a little bit more of a reach. Not a lot. Probably not anything significant, but I don't know. I feel like Mr. TJ Dillashaw will give no love to Cody Garbrandt.
In all fairness, Dillashaw has the better resume as far as opponents faced. So experience could play a factor I guess we'll see.
Lands more significant strikes per minute. Better accuracy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, we will see.
Yes.
Oh,
I won't see it live.
I won't see it live either.
I'll see it live.
Kevin will see it live.
If you guys
Kevin
want
will
to come over, you're more than welcome to come over.
I'm already there. I'm right next to you.
Yeah, I forgot.
We're 2 places at once.
Amazing. And then the main event, kind of lackluster main event in my opinion. You got Bisping, St. Pierre, 2 old guys going at it. Both are probably going to retire after this, depending on what happens. Cory, apparently Ben's phone died for good because he didn't ever get back to me. I texted him the question, and he never answered me. So I'll probably get it like later tonight, maybe. We'll see. And
so your take is whoever wins or whoever loses, I should say, that fighter will retire.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, St. Pierre coming back 4 years off and coming in a weight class that he was never champion of. Different route, I guess. And then honestly, if Bisping wins, I can definitely see him retiring too. And so that'd be interesting. Both fighters retire at the end of this fight and ride off into the sunset together, I guess.
Holding hands, probably.
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe.
If you watch some of their trash talking, it's pretty entertaining as well. So, and I don't know. I just can't. I don't like either fighter in this division, at least. I don't like Bisping, period, and I don't like St. Pierre coming back in this division. If it was 170, I'd feel more confident in picking GSP, but I'm going to take Bisping just because of... And you can't even say he doesn't have that ring rust because he hasn't fought in over a year now. But I'll take Bisping by knockout in the 3rd round.
I'm going to take St. Pierre by submission in the 4th. I don't think those skills are going to diminish or there'll be ring rust when it comes to your jiu-jitsu skills. And I don't think Bisping can compete with St. Pierre on the ground. So I'm going to go with GSP. Plus, like you said earlier, the UFC needing Cody, the UFC needs GSP. They would love it for him to be the star in the face of their sport again, I think. So
yeah.
If it's a close fight where it goes to the cards, I wouldn't be shocked if people are saying, Bisping won, but GSP gets the nod.
Stefan.
GSP. I don't understand the leg reach, 44 inches to 0 inches, so apparently GSP has no legs.
Yeah.
He's legless.
He got amputated like tight end from Chicago this weekend.
It's just waddling around on stubs, I guess.
It's weird because they look like they're there.
Yeah, it does look like there. That's all CGI, though.
I don't know. Yeah, towards the bottom, they kind of look computer animated. So
they do look a little bit. I'm assuming that's his cup. Otherwise, he has a giant package.
Which he could have.
He's got a lot to show.
Yeah, probably be submission. GSP.
So you're going with the Canadians too.
That I am.
All right. So there you have it. We'll have our recap next week. How was your guys' weekend? I know I usually ask that at the beginning, but we didn't really have a normal beginning.
It was my daughter's birthday, so it was eventful.
Well, happy birthday. Belated.
She says thanks.
But she'd like a little more timely next time.
Well, a little heads up would be nice.
I'm sure something was posted on Facebook. You could have put two and two together.
Yeah. I was on the road. I don't pay attention to Facebook when I'm on the road.
You were posting stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, because I can go click and then just forget about it.
Oh.
Forget about it.
Forget
about it. I didn't even know it was her birthday either, so it's okay. I thought her birthday party.
That
was
makes
her
it a
birthday.
trifecta.
Good thing is she doesn't remember until like later on when she'll actually like start realizing, hey, they don't actually know my birthday. This is kind of weird.
They don't care about me. All right. Did you guys catch any of the MLS playoffs this weekend? This past week, I should say.
I tried to tune into the Seattle Sounders game, and every time I tuned in, it was on a commercial. So obviously it was either halftime or it was the end of the game. So I did not catch any of it. But I saw that it was a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, with one shot on goal. Did you guys catch any of the knockout rounds, though?
No, I did not.
The Columbus Crew Atlanta game was actually probably the most entertaining of the weekend, past week. And it was a 0-0 draw, and it went to penalties. And that's how Columbus ended up taking it. But, I mean, there was so many shots off the post or crossbar that it could have easily went to Atlanta's way. They could not catch the bar just right to knock it in the goal. So the Red Bulls kind of dominated the Fire. Cory, we were wrong on that one as well.
Yeah, I know.
For love. And then you just had an awful...
I was literally wrong on every single one.
Yes.
I was telling Stefan, I'm done doing research on stuff I don't know. I'd wing it and do better than that.
It's almost like your premier picks. Jeez.
Yeah. I'm a big soccer.
I don't know if I trust my finals picks now because of this. We'll see.
I trust mine.
The Sounders looked pretty well on the road in Vancouver. 0-0 draw. It's a good escape. As long as they don't allow a goal next week, or this Thursday, excuse me. They're definitely moving to the semis.
Well, they also have to score a goal.
Yeah. But.
Well, that's part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
You can't just not allow a goal.
Yeah.
I guess if you don't allow a penalty shot, too, if it came down to that.
Yeah. But away goals count twice if it's a tie, so.
Oh.
It's tricky.
So if it was 1-1.
Vancouver would advance.
Right.
So then Seattle would have to win 2-1 or 1-0, basically, is what we're looking at. I believe the Eastern Conference is advancing tonight, maybe? Do you know anything about your team, Stefan?
I know that we play tonight.
All right. So then it's Houston, Portland, and then one of the Eastern Conference teams. And then another game tomorrow night, and then they start again Thursday. Stefan added his finals picks.
I missed out on the KO picks, but I'm in on the finals.
He's got the Red Bulls and the Timbers, so hopefully the Timbers don't score any goals and get shut out.
That won't happen. We could have the same result as you, 0-0.
Yeah, hey.
Then we're in good shape.
0-0.
Yeah, because 0 goals counted twice is still 0. So it works out.
0 goals counted once is still 0 too.
That's amazing how that works.
Crazy. He doesn't even know where to go.
He doesn't even know what to say to this, man.
Wow. Complicated.
Do you want us to spell it out for you?
Could you draw me a chart?
Next time.
All right. You guys got anything else to add? I feel like you don't.
No, 0.
I mean, I just feel like, the Red Bulls
0?
putting up four goals against Chicago. I think they're going to come in hot. Like you guys were mentioning in the last podcast there, you ride that momentum throughout the playoffs, knock off the number 1 team, and all of a sudden you're in control of your destiny. Just like that.
Like that. All right, let's move on to the MLB playoffs. I woke up to a text from a Dodgers fan, so that's how I knew how Game 5 went. Let me find that text real quick for you.
Probably the most entertaining World Series of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time.
It's a bold statement.
At about 10:45
I stand by it.
Pacific time, so this game went late into the night for you East Coasters. I got a text that said, "I want to die. That was awful," from a Dodgers fan. So
hopefully you called him back and brought him up out of his depression.
I sent a text saying, "Wow, that's one way to wake up," because I was already asleep.
Did you send him the number to the suicide hotline?
No, I did not. I'm not worried about him.
He goes, I guess.
He goes, I get promoted. Hey, look at that.
I know suicide is not a joke, okay?
Hashtag.
We do not condone suicide.
Yeah.
So going back and forth. Game 1 went to the Dodgers, 3-1. Houston took the next two. LA came back Saturday night, 6-2, and then last night Houston won in 10, 13-12, which is more than Tampa Bay scored in football.
Good week.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Next
Can't
segment.
wait.
Yeah. I'm sure you can't. Tuesday is Game 6 in LA. Hopefully, I think I took Houston. Cory took LA. Stefan, did you take a team?
Yeah.
I think we guessed LA.
Yep. That'll work.
That'll work. That'll do. On with the show. This is it.
They'll come back. They'll come back, I'm sure.
Come back.
Yeah. 2 games in LA.
Clayton Kershaw choked that game.
I mean,
Apparently, from what I heard today, it's the story of his career.
It is.
Great in the regular season, then he gets to the playoffs and chokes it away.
Yep. He's the Peyton Manning of baseball.
Maybe someday he'll get over that hump, just like Peyton did.
Nah.
Probably not.
Life's too short for him.
I feel like this guy's on is this like a death theme today or something? Like, is he
It's
gonna
Halloween, I guess.
is he gonna die like tomorrow? You got like a hit out on him or something? Like, what is going on right now?
Life's short for him.
Life is short for him.
Yikes. Clayton, take cover.
It's a dark episode today.
It's all this talk of death and Halloween stuff.
Is it because of the Dark Knight on my t-shirt?
Ooh, no.
Ooh. This was actually just to clarify to everybody that he's the Robin to my Batman.
I didn't have that pulled up for you.
Sorry. It's all right.
Heads up would be nice. I am Iron Man.
Is that what you are?
Yeah.
Not even in like the same universe, are they? No.
How come I didn't get the memo that we were doing comic book theme?
Actually, you did get the memo where Halloween's thing.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Was there something about that?
No, I told you yesterday or last podcast, and you were
yeah,
supposed to tell
yeah.
Stefan.
Oh yeah. I didn't even know it. I just wore something, so I saw it was a Halloween episode. So I was like, well, I better wear something.
I guess I better just take my shirt off.
You're kind of like
be a 300 character.
You almost got like a Freddy Krueger look going.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
I'll take it. Don't have to do anything with my face,
Take
right?
your shirt off for 300. Get the fuck out of here.
Just cut on.
Wow, that was a delayed
Put, like the
reaction.
shoulders up.
I'll take that. Hollywood face.
No, you're like the hunchback guy. That's the 300 character you were. Or those weird fucking like witches that were at the top of the mountain with like fucked up faces and shit.
Could be like the immortal dudes with the metal masks. Just wear all black with the metal faces.
Those guys were actually pretty badass.
Yeah.
They're like throwing shit.
Yeah, they were pretty sick. That movie was sick. I need to watch that again.
I haven't watched that in a while.
Did they come out with the second one?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I never saw
more?
it though.
I don't think I saw it either.
Return to Sparta. The untold story.
Actually pulled a guy up that they kicked down in the hole.
Mm.
Pulled him back up. They're like, hey, kick you back down there. All right, back to sports.
Oh, that's what this podcast is, I guess. So some NFL action happened. Cory, your team won.
Hey.
Didn't
that easy win that you were talking about last week. Man,
Easy win.
easy win, huh?
A win's a win, right? Isn't that what you're preaching with your Philadelphia cake schedule? Win's a win?
Okay, here we go.
Oh boy.
Here we go. So we want to get into that right now?
This is what we've all been waiting for.
We want to get into that right now?
I don't.
So are you telling me what teams are legit? What teams are legit?
Let's get
Out
to
of
this
these two-
actual. Are you
these two lost teams.
thrilled with a win over the 49ers?
Out of these two lost teams, so you got the Vikings, the Steelers, Patriots, Bills, Saints, Chiefs, Seahawks, Rams.
Cowboys are legit. You haven't played them yet. The Patriots, you don't have a chance to play.
Keep talking up the Cowboys. And
Do they play the Rams?
They made the win over the Redskins look easier than you did.
how?
Because they couldn't do anything. Kirk Cousins threw
They had a
three
chance to come
touchdowns
down
on
and
you.
tie the game or win it at the end.
He got picked off.
Okay.
You had to go do
So
a
it was a
shootout.
one-touchdown
You
game.
needed a shootout. I can't wait for the Cowboys-Philly game.
Yeah, they're going to crush them. Kidding me?
Okay,
So-
back
so
to
do
who's
you-
legit.
Patriots?
Patriots are legit, sure.
Okay, no defense, Patriots. All right. Bills?
I don't know. I guess I think last podcast I had to admit they're okay.
So they're
I
legit,
guess.
but the Eagles aren't legit, right?
I didn't say they aren't legit.
So what are you saying about the Eagles?
They're just beating teams that they should beat.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. I said
So what makes the Bills legit?
That's why I paused. I don't know if they're.
Who have they beaten?
They might be legit. I can't really tell. They beat Oakland, who sucks, kind of, pretty much.
Oakland sucks.
They couldn't beat the Bengals, who aren't very good. They beat the Jets.
The Broncos, who aren't
The
that
Broncos,
good,
who
I
are
don't think.
falling.
The Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, who aren't that good.
Right? I don't know.
All right, let's get into the recap. I just had to get into that with him
Oh, that's fine.
for a second.
I got both your scores up right now, along with my 17-3. So
Yeah. Well, the Bengals, I don't really have much to say other than they aren't that good. They barely eked out a win over the Colts. They needed their defense to win that game. It did. They got a defensive touchdown. And then they got a stop with 2 minutes left. And then they just knelt the game out. Like he said, you got to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. So I guess a win's a win. I'll take it. It wasn't pretty. Moving on.
oh, that was quick.
There's
So
nothing to really say about it.
So I
Joe
guess
Mixon got his touches that he was asking for. He got like 14 carries for 17 yards, so he needs to shut the hell up. He did have 93 receiving yards, but 75 of that was him breaking a long one. So there's not really much to say. They need to focus on next week against the Jaguars. We'll see how that goes.
I don't think any of us picked the Bengals.
Spoiler alert.
So basically, I picked the
Spoiler
Jaguars.
alert.
They're not going to win, so the Bengals are going to win.
I mean,
Speaking
you were
of
kind of
teams
you were
that are
kind of
legitimate.
screwed with that. We'll get to it when we go to picks. Panthers, Bucks. They're a legit shitty team. They can't score because they're too busy shooting themselves in the foot with penalties and turnovers. Every time they'd get close, they'd either end their momentum with a huge penalty, or Jameis Winston, I think, had a fumble. I didn't even pay attention in the fourth quarter because I was on the road at a lunch meeting, something or whatever you want to call it, with some people. And, yeah, 17-3. Not a lot to talk about for Tampa Bay or the Panthers for that fact.
Well, the Panthers just keep on winning. I mean, they lost to the Eagles. That's the team that I told Stefan that week whenever that happened a few weeks ago. I gave the Eagles credit. If the playoffs were to start today, the Panthers are in. So the Eagles beat a playoff team as of right now.
Good job, Stefan.
That's the only one on their record. But that's neither here nor there, I guess, at that point. But the Panthers are decent. I thought the Panthers would go into Tampa Bay and win. That's really not a surprise to me.
Go ahead. Talk about your Eagles, Stefan. Unless you have anything else to comment about the Bucks.
No, they surprised me. I thought that their offense would be a little more explosive this year. I don't know if Jameis isn't getting enough time. I haven't really, except for the Bills Bucks games that I went to, but they seemed to put up points pretty easily that game.
Oh, how was that, by the way?
It was a good time. Wore my Eagles stuff.
You were that guy?
Got nice and drunk. There was actually a lot of Bucks fans there. I was surprised. I didn't realize there was that many of you in existence, honestly.
Which is funny because the stadium down in Tampa was 50-50 with Giants fans. So
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. There was they had a whole pavilion, I don't know, they had this whole setup, like somebody had a pop-up tent and all this crazy stuff going on. It was insane.
Did you see anyone doing it in the parking lot?
I didn't see anything crazy. I was in the parking lot. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're a little more strict in the parking lot about what you can and can't do.
Well, they had sex. Someone recorded people having sex in the parking lot.
Yeah, but those are. I feel like those are the outlier, not the actual.
You gotta go way out.
You gotta go to those people make their own parking lots, basically.
Wasn't there a fire or someone jumped through a table?
There was somebody lit themselves on fire and jumped through a table.
There you go.
And another video I saw, a guy body slammed his girlfriend through a table. So
keeping it classy.
Keeping it classy in Buffalo.
I think my other question to you is: did anyone fall off the second story there at the Ralph?
No, not that I know of. It was pretty tame. I think that it's a different mindset. I think for the fans this year, it's a little different because they're actually winning.
Yeah, when they have a winning record.
So they're actually paying more attention to the game. I think
I don't have to get fucked up. Sweet.
Instead of just doing ridiculous shit. There's still ridiculous shit going on, but I think once the game starts, it gets a little more. Let's actually pay attention and cheer for them. It's weird. It's a weird culture up there.
And then the Eagles beat the 49ers 33-10. No surprise to any of us.
No surprise.
The same team that the Cowboys put up 45 on, but the Cowboys aren't that good.
Cowboys have 3 losses, but you want to sit here and talk about how good they are.
I'm just saying.
So apparently wins losses means nothing anymore, right?
Wins losses means something if you play people.
Do we have to go? Who have the Cowboys lost to? Who are their 3 losses to? You don't even know. You want to talk all this shit about how great these cowgirls are. You pulling it up? You looking at it?
Am I? What? No.
Okay.
I can.
But anyways, I mean the Eagles. I wasn't really super. They got off to another slow start this week. Wasn't impressed by that against the 49ers, especially. But then Wentz got going again and just took off from there.
So the Cowboys lost.
How are the injuries going to affect you think?
That's the big thing is the injuries right now. The injuries are starting to pile up big time.
So the Cowboys lost in Denver. They lost to the Rams 35-30 and Green Bay 35-31, I believe.
Okay,
That
a
was
Green
the
Bay team with
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
a notable loss. A Rams team that would be a playoff contender and leading their division. That's a good team. Losing to Denver is a shitty loss. I can't really defend that.
It was in Denver.
Okay. It was in Denver. Those losses aren't bad. What do you want? I mean, those aren't bad losses.
They're still losses. We haven't played those teams yet, so you can't compare us to them until we play those teams.
You just made my point. You haven't even played those teams.
Okay.
So you can't. No one can be rah-rah the Eagles when you haven't played anybody.
We have played. We played the Chiefs. We lost to, but we're literally a play away from probably winning that
You
game.
played the Chiefs and the Panthers.
You're
right?
also-
Those are the two best teams you played.
You're also
And you
a
went
play
1-0.
away from losing to the Giants and a play away from losing to the Chargers.
Who were?
The Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah, but they won.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but I mean, play away from losing to the Colts.
Yeah, that's why I said. That's why you just got the answer you got. Yeah, but they won.
I'm not saying that. I mean, record-wise, we're the best team right now. Do I think that? I don't think there's really any stand atop. Like, I don't think there's any team in the league right now that is far and ahead of everybody else.
No, this year is going to be really interesting. And just like, does anyone believe? I mean, when the Chiefs were 5-0, there was people who didn't think they were the best team. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Do you think this is part of the reason why NFL ratings are down? Just because?
No.
But I mean, I like it when it's more competitive like this. Like you don't have the Patriots. Like Patriots aren't like unbeatable.
No.
Everybody knows that they can lose, which is nice because whatever. Like when they stacked up their team, everybody was pretty much writing like, all right.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about the Patriots is their defense sucked in the beginning, and in the last 2 weeks has played really well.
Yeah.
If that continues, then the Patriots are, as long as Chris Hogan isn't hurt for an extended period of time, the Patriots are a team that's going to be tough to beat.
I mean, the Saints with their defense all of a sudden starting to play well.
And that's all the Panthers are. The Panthers are defense. Their offense is garbage this year. The Cowboys, I think, are starting to put it together on both ends. That's why I think they're dangerous. And at the same time they're doing that, the Eagles are starting to get hurt. That doesn't bode well for the Eagles. The Steelers, I wasn't a believer in. I guess I got to be now. They're winning games somehow. Defensively, they're winning games. They stopped. They held the Chiefs. They held the Lions. Those are two pretty decent offenses. Credit.
All I'm saying is trade deadline is Tuesday. Eagles are looking strongly at Calvin Johnson. Bring him back out of retirement.
Get out of here.
But I think that they're actually looking at an offense. They're trying to get that offensive lineman, Dwayne Brown.
Oh,
the Texans, I think.
Is he on the Texans?
Maybe. I could be wrong. But it was like a white and red
The
team.
article I just read on ESPN was Eli Manning to the Jaguars. So that would be interesting.
The Eagles definitely need offensive line help. I think their defense is actually doing well without Ronald Darby. Now they're missing Hicks. I think they've done really well. Special teams is always like one of their better places. Although the kicker all of a sudden missed like I think 2 extra points this week.
Do any of us think the Vikings are real, even though they're 6-2? Is Case Keenum really going to lead a team to a playoff win?
No.
All right. I don't think so either.
I think he's done a good job managing. But
I guess the bigger storyline is Teddy Bridgewater going to actually play this year?
Probably.
He's healthy. He's getting taken off the PUP list next week.
I mean, if the game is far out of reach, like this past week against the Browns, 33-16, I could see him getting a couple of reps just to see where he's at.
Well, that furthers the question because now you have 3 quarterbacks and you could trade one. What one do you trade? Just to throw it out there, if you look at the stats, Case Keenum's stats are better than Teddy Bridgewater when he had that playoff year and won a playoff. Well, almost won a playoff game.
I think you trade Bradford.
I don't know if anybody even I mean, Bradford, his injuries just keep lingering.
Do you sell Bridgewater on the idea to somebody that his ceiling's high?
When does Bradford come back?
I don't know.
No one
Last I saw, he was like having like a second evaluation or something like that on his knee.
I mean,
it just was swelling, right?
I don't know what's going on with his knee.
I mean, Green Bay's desperate enough. Hey, throw a 4th-round pick, see what happens.
That's what the Vikings were once they lost Bridgewater. They were desperate. That's why we got rid of Bradford.
That's why I'm not even going to talk about the Vikings against the Browns, because the Browns are probably not going to win a game this year.
And then we have the only shutout of the weekend as well. The Ravens shutting out Dolphins Thursday night after we had 3 shutouts last week.
Dolphins are who I thought they were. They're garbage from the get-go. They're garbage still. Ravens have a good defense. Dolphins have no offense. As fantasy owners, how Jay Ajayi is doing this year. Sucks. Right. Dolphins can't get
Tell you
anything
what,
done.
though. I had to choose between him and Crabtree. Pick Ajayi
all day. The only news coming out of that game was that hit dirty by Alonzo on Joe Flacco.
I'm surprised he didn't get thrown out for that.
What about Sue choking Ryan Mallett, slamming another player, basically letting loose all game and nothing?
See, I actually saw the highlight, I think, today of the Flacco hit. And it honestly is one of those, like, when you have a running quarterback and you literally have like a split second to decide if this quarterback's going to keep running or is he going to slide. And once you've committed to the hit, like, how you can't stop yourself from launching at a person once you, like, the way it looked like to me, it looked like it was close enough to me where he dropped down to slide so fast that Kiko Alonso was already committed to the hit.
I think you can go, Kevin.
The biggest thing was the shoulder.
Yeah.
He leaned the shoulder in after he was already sliding.
He was like already in the air, and it seemed like he was going to traject over Flacco and dipped, like, on purpose.
Yeah.
To lay a hit down. And I think that's what people are upset with.
I didn't get that close.
If he dipped on purpose, that was dirty. And if that was just his trajectory, I agree with you. And that's just what it is. But it did look like he was like, I'm going to miss him. Let's make contact. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that close of a look.
And it didn't help the Dolphins at all because then I think they ended up scoring another 20 points on them. So
that didn't matter.
Yeah.
Vikings beat the Browns. You can skip over that one.
All right, and then we'll move on to
the goddamn Jets.
Had a halftime lead, blew it to the Falcons. You guys are safe for this week at least. Another week.
What do you mean for this week? We got, like, you still gotta get, what, 4 more wins?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We're good. We're good.
What happens if they get 7? You guys gotta do 7?
Correct.
Okay. So they were up at halftime, I think 17-14 I heard on the radio. Falcons obviously came back, won by 5.
Falcons didn't look that good again.
They don't look good this year.
There's something off with that offense. Like, I think you and I were talking off the podcast. I think it's starting to show that Shanahan meant more to that team than they thought. Their offense was top-notch last year, and it's middle of the road this year. So, not that Shanahan's scoring points with San Francisco, but
doesn't quite have the
but he doesn't have any talent, correct? Which, besides Carlos Hyde, free Hyde.
Hashtag free the Hyde.
The Jets, like you were saying, you were trying not to speak for me last week, but yeah, I agree. The Jets are definitely better than I ever imagined them to be this year. They actually are competing in games where I was expecting them to be more like the Browns.
I know. If I saw this, at the beginning of the year when I saw the schedule, I would have never thought, yeah, the Jets are going to give the Falcons a run for their money.
Right.
And they did. So
the Falcons aren't as good as we thought they were going to be. But
well, I guess that's when both things happen. The Jets are better, the Falcons are worse, you get a decent game. Because the difference in the NFL between the worst team and the best team isn't that much. It's more just mistakes.
If you substitute the Niners and Browns out of there, yeah.
It really just comes down to mistakes, and there is a little bit of talent differential, but the talent differential I don't think makes up for how a team is coached and a team's discipline. Look at the Bears. They normally don't make penalties and don't shoot themselves in the foot, and that's why they're in games. Even against the Saints, they only lose by 8. It's because they really don't make mistakes. You actually really have to beat the Bears. So they're a decent bad team, I guess. That's how you put it. They don't have the talent. They're well disciplined, but the talent differential they can't make up right now. They need more help. Saints, you mentioned their defense is good this year. Their offense, Drew Brees, I don't even think threw a touchdown.
No, he didn't.
So their offense struggled, and luckily they got a defense this year that can hold teams down. That's something Drew Brees hasn't had in a long, long time. That makes them very interesting, I think, come playoff time.
Be different to see them in the playoffs again. I feel like it's been a while since they've even been in the playoffs.
I know. And then when they're in the playoffs, they have a defense. That's going to be weird.
Yeah, not the fastest show on turf.
No. Chargers lose another close game.
Surprise, surprise.
They're the king of that. Patriots hold another team down to right around 14.
Just think about it. If it wasn't for Travis Benjamin running that, what was it, a punt or a kickoff into the end zone and getting a safety, it would have been 16-13.
Yeah.
Chargers were in field goal range there at the end.
Yeah, I know.
Could have been a tie game. Could have gone overtime.
Yeah, the Patriots offense didn't look that good. This was a team that they were supposed to run all over. One of the worst rush defenses in the league, and they couldn't get anything going. And Tom Brady didn't blow it out of the water either. He threw for over 300 yards, but he had a ton of pass attempts.
Who the hell is he throwing to? Because Brandon Cooks only had like 30 yards.
James White.
Oh.
So it was Dinkin and Duncan.
And Raiders lost by 20 to the Bills.
This is like one of the teams, like his Jaguars, the Raiders, who I originally had in the Super Bowl. Obviously, if I was to redo it halfway through the year, I would not. But they show up some games, and then some games they do not, so I can't figure them out. Bulls just skate away with another win. I don't know if you have anything to say about the Bills.
I can't get a read on them. I don't know how they're winning.
Their defense. Right?
Their defense, they have the most, I think they have the highest turnover ratio.
Yeah, they do.
Plus 14.
Yeah, them and the Saints are the two top turnover
So
ratios.
obviously, you turn other teams over more than you get turned over. It gives you a good chance of winning some games. I mean, even if you're not capitalizing every time, you're at least giving yourself a chance to put up some points.
Yep.
I mean, their run game's solid. I'm still not sold on Tyrod Taylor. I don't think he does enough to not lose games, I guess.
They have no receiver with over 200 receiving yards this year.
Yeah, the receivers are awful.
I mean, as great as it is to have a Tom Brady, it's usually the defense that wins those championships. I mean, look at the 03 Buccaneers. They had Brad Johnson as their quarterback. I mean, and then you have...
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you have like Flacco for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean,
you definitely don't see teams with terrible defenses winning Super Bowls. But I think you can get away with an average defense if you have a phenomenal quarterback.
But I think vice versa. We saw with the Ravens with a phenomenal defense win a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what the Bills have to be rooting for. Is our defense that good where Tyrod Taylor can just win a Super Bowl because our defense is that great? I think the Bills' defense is going to come back down to life a little bit in the second half. I don't think they're going to be getting turnovers 20% of the time. That's a little high. That's got to drop.
I don't think they've really played that tough. I mean,
well, let's be honest. The Patriots and the Bills right now are taking advantage of a weak conference. Yeah. A weak division.
Well, weak conference. So.
Truly, yeah. Moving on.
I mean,
The game of the day.
The game of the day. I was listening to a lot of this back and forth nonsense. The Seahawks-Texans game.
Seahawks win the game, Texans win the event.
I mean, who knew the Seahawks actually had an offense?
Who knew Deshaun Watson could go against the Seahawks defense and light them up for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns?
In Seattle.
In Seattle.
Every week we get to the Texans, I don't like to talk about it.
Because of how high I'm on them?
No.
How he gave up Deshaun Watson?
How I drafted Deshaun Watson. Thinking, wow, this could be a great pickup for me. Yeah.
Like I said, this year the Texans may not even make the playoffs, but they got themselves a franchise quarterback.
But
they have parts. They have who I'll argue all day, DeAndre Hopkins is better than Antonio Brown. Yeah, I said it here first. Then they have Lamar Miller, who now you see with a quarterback that can open up running lanes, is starting to run. They just need their defense back. Brian Cushing's out. J.J. Watt's out for the year. They have some other out on that defense. Get those pieces back.
When did Watson get named the starter?
Week 2. Week 2. Because Savage got pulled week 1.
So
who doesn't start Watson? Let's go with that. And let's go with, what's this thing about let's draft quarterbacks and let them sit? Carson Wentz didn't have to wait a year. Jared Goff didn't have to wait a year.
Jameis
and Deshaun
Winston.
Watson hasn't had to wait a year. And how do they all look? Pretty good. So I think the theory of sitting behind a quarterback and learning is dumb. Let's go with that. Dumb. Yeah. I say throw them to the Wolves and look how they can compete.
I mean, Watson's lowest scoring game was against Cleveland week 6, 33 points. I'll take that.
Watson's the real thing. I mean, the Texans need a defense, but Watson's for real. And that's why I said DeAndre Hopkins, because if you look at his quarterbacks he's had, and he's still had a good career, Brock Osweiler, Brian Hoyer, Tom Savage, a whole bunch of junk. And he still put up numbers.
But are we sold that you think, you know how it happens? Sometimes you come in the league, you tear shit up for a year, and then what happens? I mean, there's no quarterbacks that fall off.
RG3 and Cam Newton hasn't even,
especially with him being a mobile quarterback like he is. All it takes is one hit.
You know what it is that's different? And I think his name's Dabo Swinney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like his Clemson coach said he's got like that ick factor, that competitive factor, and that quality where the team wants to win for him and wants to rally around him. Where, I don't know if you remember, but RG3 was like a me player. Very selfish, and the team didn't really care for him. So I think all your teammates wanting to play for you and be all about you and rallying around you at such a young age as a rookie says a lot about you, and I think that will help. I don't know. I think his character will lead that team. How about getting his very first paycheck and giving it to the employees of the Texas Stadium or whatever that were affected by the hurricane? He's a high character guy. He's a team you want to build your team around, and he has talent.
I did see an article come out today about RG3 saying how the coaching staff didn't even want him on the team. It was one of those owner situations where he just got stuck to them. So, I mean,
well, yeah, the whole time Coach Shanahan wanted Kirk Cousins, and rightfully so. Look at the difference. He knew what he had.
Mm-hmm. Seahawks.
Do we really think that Watson continues on this trajectory of, what is he? I don't even know. He's got to be up there in league leaders for touchdowns.
He's leading the league in touchdowns, and he's leading the league in quarterback rating. And he's a rookie, and he set the record for most touchdowns in his first 7 games, breaking.
He's passed Wentz in touchdowns, passing touchdowns. Or are you talking about total touchdowns, rushing?
I think total, because it said I think he was leading in touchdowns, so that's probably total. Because Wentz has to be winning passing.
I think Wentz threw like another 2 or 3 this week.
Yeah. Are you looking it up, Kevin?
Yeah.
No, he's going to come down. But the only flip side is Dak thrown to the Wolves last year. everyone's like, oh, he can't play better than what he did his rookie year. He's better this year. So there's a possibility to be better.
He is the only rookie to ever throw 3+ touchdown passes in 4 consecutive games. I'm looking for other stats.
Yeah, I know he's on a.
He's on a crazy tear right now.
Yeah.
The game's coming easy to him right now, which is scary because look what he did to the, like we just said, the Seahawks defense. He can put up 38. Luckily, Russell Wilson played the game of his life.
Go away. It's got 19 passing touchdowns.
The Texans and the Jaguars too can take that division. Division, the Titans are not the strong team in that division.
Most of any player in his first 7 games of his NFL career, per NFL Research. Kurt Warner's 18 touchdowns were the previous record.
Yeah. So maybe they aren't mentioning Wentz's record, so maybe Wentz does have the most touchdowns.
Most touchdowns
right now, yeah.
I can't remember if he threw. I'm trying to think. I know he threw one.
And then
threw one to Alshon Jeffrey. Threw one to.
I like how you memorize this.
That's yards.
So Brady's winning in passing yards by almost 500. Watson and Wentz are tied, but Watson's rushing touchdowns, he probably has the lead.
Yeah.
Brady's right there with 16.
And Brady's right there with 16. And you know what's sad is everyone's like, Brady's not having a good year.
Did he not throw a touchdown?
He threw one last week.
16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for Brady for his bad year.
And it's a tough year for him.
Yeah. 2,500 yards. No big deal.
I don't know if you guys saw Richard Sherman say that Deshaun Watson will be a top 5 quarterback next year. And he goes, and that's including the big 2, which would be Rodgers and Brady. He thinks Watson will be right there.
Did you say Deshaun Watson was leading the league in rating?
That's what the QBR.
This is a QBR.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
It's fit.
What's the one? No, there's a different one where it's way lower than that. You've got like an 82. There's a different rating than that. Must not be the QBR.
It's 2 rushing touchdowns.
Wentz doesn't even have 2. What do Prescott and Newton have? 3?
Sean Kaiser probably has more rushing touchdowns than passing.
Either way, he's having a great year. That's why I said the Texans win the event. Everyone's talking about the Texans. No one's even talking about Seattle winning the game.
I'm not sold on Watson. I think he's having a great year, but we'll see if he definitely has the weapons around him to continue being successful, but I see it a lot where you get that sophomore slump and kind of just fall off.
Also, he doesn't have J.J. Watt around him. J.J. Watt, isn't he done for the year?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Their defense, if they had a defense, they'd be a good team. J.J. Watt's out for the year, and Brian Cushing was out for the year at the very beginning. That's the captains. Those are their 2 captains. They're both out. On the flip side, moving on to the next game, the Cowboys are getting healthy. Their defense is finally healthy. Now they're winning.
They're still garbage.
And they have a quarterback who's not in a sophomore slump. He's actually better than he was last year. So
we got a quarterback that's better than it was last year, too.
I know. That's going to be an interesting thing. Who's on the trajectory for a Super Bowl first, Wentz or Prescott?
Probably for their offensive line, I'd give it to the Cowboys, but
I don't know. The Cowboys.
If Zeke would just serve his fucking suspension already, then,
the Cowboys
we wouldn't even have to worry about this. Wouldn't even be a question because Zeke goes out, the Cowboys aren't winning it like they are right now. That's a guaranteed fact.
You think it's Zeke? It's not the line.
I think Zeke opens up a lot of things for Dak Prescott.
So you think Zeke's considerably more talented than Alfred?
Because you had to put more people in the box.
Right.
With Zeke, you put Zeke in the backfield, you have to load the box. Now you're playing more 1-to-1 coverage.
You would think that Redskins know that you have to load the box, and Dak didn't even throw a passing touchdown, and they still won. So, like, how do the Redskins know to load the box, and they still can't stop Zeke? Is he that phenomenal?
Offensive line is that phenomenal? Yeah. Well, we all know they have the best offensive line in the league.
It'll be interesting. I can't get too rah-rah about that win because I wasn't for the Eagles, so I got to keep it true. The Redskins are just an okay team, so they beat an okay team.
Regardless, the Eagles are 3-0 in the division, which I'm happy about.
And the Cowboys are 2-0.
Okay.
Neither one has lost a game in the division
The
yet.
Cowboys are going to be 4-2. The Eagles are going to be 6-0.
I mean,
division.
I mean, the Eagles have got a tough stretch coming up against, they got the Cowboys.
It doesn't
twice.
get easier for them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys have, the second toughest schedule?
Cowboys.
They've got a tough schedule.
Their next game's against Kansas City. Then
It doesn't get easier for them.
At Atlanta, Philadelphia, Chargers, anyone's game there. Washington, New York, Oakland, Seattle, Philly. So
the only edge I'm going to give to the Eagles probably for remainder schedule is the Eagles have a lot of home games coming up.
Cowboys' next game is big. They got the Chiefs in Dallas. If they can win that and the Eagles couldn't beat the Chiefs, we'll start to see what happens.
Am I looking at the wrong schedule there, Stefan? Because I'm looking at their schedule and they're home against Denver. Then they're on the road at Dallas, home against Chicago, and then they go on a 3-game road trip. And then they finish 2 at home.
So that's what, 4-4?
No, it's 3-3. Or 4-4. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Well, I guess I was counting yesterday's game as a home game too. But
I was gonna say because they got 2 West Coast games in December, so that'll be interesting to see.
At Oakland.
No, at Seattle and at LA. We're gonna find out who the Eagles really are, I think.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, they're who I thought they were. Best team in the NFL.
Certainly not 5-11, right?
Certainly not. They can't even tank this season and get to 5-11.
Then on the flip side, the Lions coming off of a bye at home, I thought had all the time in the world to prepare for the Steelers, and they can't even score a touchdown. Matt Prater kicks 5 field goals.
I have 3 words. Jew, Schuster. Let's go.
Martavis Bryant needs to go to a team that needs a receiver.
He just needs to leave the NFL.
Hello, Chicago Bears.
There's no way Martavis Bryant comes back to the Steelers.
Nah, he's going
after that performance by Schuster.
He's got to go to the Bears. They need a receiver. I don't really have much to say. I hate the Steelers. Someone else can talk. They're my least favorite team by like a mile. I fucking hate them.
All right, well, let's talk about the Lions a little bit because the Lions have yet to have a 100-yard rushing game by one person so far this season.
Yeah. Since 2004 or something was the last time someone did it.
It was probably who was that one little guy they had?
That can't be right. I think Reggie Bush ran for 100 yards for them.
Who was the one little guy that they had? Little running back. Can't remember his name.
Javid Best?
I think so. He ended up like retiring or something.
Yeah, real early because of injuries. Yeah. But I know Reggie Bush did it, and that wasn't that long ago.
Well, I don't know about the Lions. I was high on the Lions, but...
What? Reggie Bush didn't do it?
I'm into 2014, going into 2013. 2013, Reggie Bush. I'm guessing it's a Thanksgiving Day game against Green Bay.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I figured
actually, I don't think they play different teams. Or no, it's the Cowboys.
Cowboys and the Lions are always Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was probably the Lions Packers.
Yeah, because it's Thursday, November 28th. So
yeah,
it's been almost 4 years.
Yeah.
I was definitely high on the Lions.
Me as well.
I'm not feeling them so much lately. I mean,
They were in that.
Steelers is a tough. I mean, that's a good team. I forget who they lost to the week before, or the week before their bye. They lost.
New Orleans.
Lions.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
And Panthers.
They're playing a tough schedule.
Oh, 3 in a row they've lost?
Yeah, they lost to the Panthers the week before that, 27-24.
That's a tough. Tough schedule. But if you're a good team and a playoff team, you got to win one of those.
Especially some at home. I mean, they at least had the Steelers at home.
Yeah, and like I said, coming off a bye, you had all the time to get healthy, prepare, and you can't get a touchdown. That's not a great performance.
They have like the schedule every team dreams of. It's like every other week, home away, home away, home away. So
it's tough for the Lions. They're gonna have to get it together quick because I thought that division was up for the taking, but the Vikings are pulling away. So.
And then tonight's Broncos Chiefs. Did we pick that? I don't think we did.
No.
Chiefs have been struggling, so.
But so have the Broncos, so I think that should be interesting. Plus, it's an interdivisional game. Those games are always interesting, whether one team sucks or not.
Mm-hmm. Broncos coming off of a shutout loss to the Chargers.
Yeah. So they should be hungry.
And the
Chiefs are hungry. They're on a 2-game skid.
Broncos have no offense like I thought they didn't. Chiefs have an offense. No very good offense.
And no defense. Well, they have one half of the field can play defense.
That's all I do.
Everyone's attacking Mitchell on the other side, and it's working. So
it's in
missing
Kansas
Eric
City.
Berry over the top, I'll tell you that much. And they lost him game 1.
Yeah.
But that's football. Injuries dictate the season.
Cowboys got the Chiefs next week?
Mm-hmm. In Dallas.
It's going to be a loss for the Cowboys. Pulling away even further. Let's go.
Who do you guys got?
Broncos in Denver. Easy one. Got no offense.
I think I did pick the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our picks for this past week and this coming week for the NFL.
Can we just talk about last week real quick, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Let's talk about the last 2 weeks. Like all of a sudden, Cory's coming on hot here.
He's gone up to 21 wins now for the season after his impressive 9-1 streak.
He's right on my tail now.
So it was hard to get a pulse on this season. Maybe halfway through, I'm finding it.
You even catch up to me and pick them, too.
I know.
I don't like that. I don't have the sole possession of first place.
I only got 2 wrong last week. I thought the Raiders were going to beat the Bills. I got that wrong. And then I picked the Lions over the Steelers because I hate the Steelers. And I got that wrong.
I went with the
out of it.
Tonight I got the Chiefs.
You got the Chiefs?
Good. It's a wash then.
I got the Bucks and Jets wrong. Stefan got the Bucks and Redskins wrong. What is it?
Because he hates the boys. He needs to take his heart out of it.
I really thought it was one of those like trap games for the Cowboys, honestly.
Not so trappy.
Not so trappy.
So this week you're stuck picking the Jaguars game. You couldn't get out of it, Stefan.
Living and dying with them.
Bengals versus Jaguars.
All of us are.
Everyone's going with the Jags. I'm going with the Broncos this week against the Eagles just to piss Stefan off. Hopefully they'll lose.
Doesn't piss me off because I'm just going to get even more further away from you, so works for me.
We're all going with the Saints versus the Bucks. I'm done picking Tampa.
I'm done picking them too. Don't worry. Never again.
Never again?
Never again.
2 wins on the season?
I don't care if they're playing the Browns. They ain't picking their asses.
You can't pick draws. Well, you could pick a tie, I guess.
Yeah, you could pick a tie. That's it. Yeah, if it was Bucks Browns, it's a tie for me.
No way is that game.
9-9. No touchdowns.
Bills
Jets.
I almost want to change my pick on that.
It's in New York.
It's in New York.
Bills streak gonna keep going, or is it The goddamn Jets
No,
gonna.
it's got to end. Change my pick to the Jets, please.
It's gotta end.
They're riding too high. Bring the Bills fans back to earth. Bring them back to earth. They're all getting a little too hyped up right now, and I don't like it.
Stefan is with me.
The goddamn Jets.
Plus, I think I've picked the Bills a few times and I've gotten it right, so I got to get off their horse. Oh, I picked them that week. It's not a good week.
We all did.
What's that?
And then we have Falcons versus Panthers as our 5th pick. Stefan's going Falcons. Cory and I going Cam Newton way.
I'm more just going with the defense because the Falcons' offense doesn't look that good.
Yeah.
And the Falcons' defense isn't that good, so Cam might be able to put up 20, maybe. And I don't think the Falcons can on the Panthers.
I more or less picked that because I didn't want it
to do the same.
Yeah. But I feel like it could go
it's
either
a very
way.
possible. Yeah.
It's not like I completely don't believe the Falcons can win because I think they could.
It's just like the Jets. You don't totally believe the Jets are going to win. You just
I want like 3 touchdowns to Robbie Anderson.
Fingers crossed.
Pick him up.
Let's go Jets.
I've had him for a while. I didn't play him this past week, and I saw him get a touchdown.
Did you play Jimmy Graham?
In my money league?
Yeah. That was good.
But I left Robbie Anderson on the bench and I put Juju Schuster in instead, and I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "This is gonna backfire. Oh my god, this is awful." And then Juju Schuster goes off.
Did you see Juju chain his bike up?
Yeah.
You got this bike on lockdown.
I was like, "That was the best move I've made all year."
My team just keeps on putting up 150 every week.
I mean, before we move on to what do we got going on next? Do you want to talk about fantasy football, Kevin?
I don't care.
Oh, your guys' matchup? Is that why?
He finally got a win after 6 years.
6
in the
years?
regular season.
I was trying to figure out how many years it was.
Broke
2011.
So in the last 7 years, you're 6-1, Kevin.
In the regular
We
season.
played multiple times, a couple of times, I think.
I think I won 1 year like 99 to 97 or something. It's usually a bye week we get. Stefan schedules us for. Maybe hoping can get him. It finally worked for him this week.
You act like I
No, I know.
Pick you.
Honestly, this week I was actually confident in my team. I'm like, Philip
I know.
Rivers.
I heard you talking about the podcast. You're like, I feel like I'm going to squeak out of week 8.
Yeah.
I heard you.
None of my players showed up. Leonard Fournette still hurt. It's awesome. The only player that did well for me is on my IR right now. So.
Oh, Melvin Gordon?
No, Macklin got me 11.
Melvin Gordon. When I saw that first touchdown he hit, I was like, "Fuck, here we go.
Here it comes.
It's over. Here we go again." And then your team just did nothing after that.
Yep.
I was like, thank you.
I actually pulled off my first win with my quarterbacks not playing well. Because I had the 2 best quarterbacks in our league with Brady and Prescott, and they didn't play well.
Yeah, I was looking at your team. I was trying to figure where you got 150 points from. I still don't really understand.
Because Hopkins put up 224 yards and a touchdown, and Lamar Miller was 100-some-odd yards and a touchdown. The Texans pulled my team up. Calvin Benjamin got a touchdown. He's been super consistent lately.
Oh, we didn't talk about the tight end for the Bears, I believe it was, right?
Zach Miller might lose his leg.
Oh. Just from
what I heard, I think right
knee?
before I came up here is that his surgery went well or something. I think.
Who knew you could do that?
I think he's still gonna have 2 legs.
It was a dislocated knee that cut an artery.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Makes my knee feel all funky.
It's a rough one.
It's pretty much the injury I'm looking to happen to me to end my basketball career. If I'm gonna go out, I wanted to go out. Just take off a leg. At least then I'm like, all right, I'm not playing again. It's not like, oh, maybe I could play. Maybe I can come, do a little physical therapy. No, I just want to take off the leg, be done.
Make sure there's no hope in my future.
There's no hope that I'm coming back. So here's the real question. Do we all think Cory's going to continue this streak? Do we think he's going to go 4 or 5 wins this week? I don't.
Someone just get shot?
I think so. I think...
In our neighborhood, someone probably did just
What
get
the heck?
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
Usually
Holy
in the
cow.
lower half of the neighborhood. It's a little sketchy down there. Start heading towards the bottom of the hill. You better be packing something.
There's been 2 murders in 2 years. So.
Wow.
You could be sitting on your porch and just pop, pop. You're done.
Trap superstars.
That's why I sit on the back porch.
I was gonna say, what about the attic? Is that a safe place for you
The
guys?
attic, I believe, is safe.
Yeah, I think we're safe. So if anyone got hit,
we might actually want to
downstairs.
turn off the lights for a little bit. Make sure we don't. Nobody knows we're up here. Starts randomly firing.
I hear voices. They said something about gunshots.
We go check the lock on that door down
Well,
there.
you
real
guys
quick.
think I at least got 2 wins, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, can I get 2 other ones?
So you'll get you'll at least go 2
and 3.
2 and 3. I'll give you that. I think you fall back to earth this week.
That's not even the streak I'm proud of. Let's get to NASCAR.
Hey, whoa. Don't get out of yourself. Whoa. You need to calm down. Let's talk about NCAA football. We're not going to be joined by Joe today. So.
Screw you, Joe. We didn't want you here anyway.
Wow.
Just kidding. I love you, Joe.
So, let's talk about...
This is only 2 beers in.
It's only 2 beers. Not even 2. It's like 1 and 3/4.
You can't even fathom where his mind was at on his birthday this year. Because this is only 2 in.
Wait till my birthday.
So when he's like 20 deep, imagine that.
Wait till my birthday this year.
Yeah, it's going to be nothing. You're going to be drinking waters.
Should I come back into town for it?
Gatorade.
Why don't you Gatorade?
How many birthdays couldn't you drink on? Like the last 2 out of the 3?
I drank last birthday.
Yeah, one before that.
One before that. I don't even know what I did for that one.
Anyway, let's talk about your favorite team in our top 25 polls. The Stanford Cardinals. They eked out one against Oregon State.
When's the win?
15-14.
Where is our poll at?
The poll?
That'll be coming up soon.
Isn't that what he's talking about? Or are you talking about our picks?
I'm just talking about the scores from last week right now.
Okay. Make up your mind. What are you talking about here?
That's what I...
What are you talking about?
Memphis beating Tulane 56-26.
Get rid of this UFC tab. We ain't talking about that.
USC destroyed my alma mater, Arizona State 48-17.
Is it your alma mater if you haven't graduated yet?
My current school.
There you go.
There you go.
That makes
I don't know, and that's only half.
Confused me. I
That's
thought
half a beer in.
was in order. I was like, shit, give me a beer.
That's half a beer in for me. Then the game of the day for college football: Ohio State upsetting Penn State 39-38.
Shit ain't right.
How many of us had?
Shit
All is right.
I think I was the only one that guessed that one.
No.
I did.
Oh yeah, me and Cory.
2 and 2.
High five.
I also went perfect in my college football picks.
Dude, you're kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, perfect.
You were perfect this weekend.
Like,
yeah, I also
I feel
picked
like
the driver that
you're
won.
perfect for me.
Kevin, I'm moving. I will see you next week in Seattle.
There's a spot right here for you, Cory. Oklahoma State beat West Virginia. Notre Dame won against NC State. Stefan, after having phenomenal the past couple of weeks in college football, you struggled. You went 1-2. I went 2-1 as well as Joe after his 3-0 week. Cory is the 3-0 this week. So that leads us to our top 25 poll. Alabama still number 1, even though they didn't play. No one really just changed their votes this week. No Kevin voters. Georgia moved up to. Yeah,
I wanted to.
Georgia moved up to number 2. Ohio State is now 3, and Wisconsin comes in at 4. Safe to say, I think we'd all agree that wouldn't be our 4 for the playoffs, since Wisconsin would then have to play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, one of them's out.
And I'm not high on Wisconsin. That's why I kept them down at 6, just because they haven't played anyone.
They're in the Big Ten and they haven't played anybody? They haven't played Michigan or Michigan State yet?
Not yet. They're coming up, so I mean,
So we'll see what they are soon.
Yeah.
Do a little fact checking on this. I trust a lot of the stuff that comes out of his mouth.
You know, everyone can hear you.
No, this is a conversation just me and Cory.
I mean, they play Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, and Minnesota to finish off their season after playing Utah State, Florida Atlantic, BYU, Northwestern. Nebraska is like their only team. Purdue, Maryland, Illinois. I mean,
yeah.
Wisconsin's got the schedule.
They're like the Eagles of college football.
Yeah.
I'm about to walk out of this fucking podcast in about 2 seconds.
Stefan, there's a spot for you right here.
No, I'm like done with this podcast.
Ooh, harsh.
Yeah.
Just like you were done with the power rankings for our fantasy football.
Don't worry, next week I'm just going to drop your ass right out of the power rankings. We're only doing 11 teams now.
You're dropping him out or me?
Yeah, both do now. You just asked that question, you're dropped out too.
I went from being perfect for him to hate.
Jeez.
It's a love-hate relationship, I guess.
That's what makes this podcast so
bring
good.
it back. Third one.
Third one brings you back.
TCU fell to 11 after losing, and Penn State dropped to 7. Other notable drops: South Florida dropped all the way to 24. Michigan State dropped to 23rd after their losses, and Arizona and Iowa State are now in our poll at 25 and 20 respectively.
Kevin, do you really believe that Auburn is the best 2-loss team?
Yes.
You think if Auburn and USC played on a neutral field, Auburn wins?
Yeah,
absolutely. He doesn't like USC. That's a stupid. Like, he doesn't like USC. He doesn't like Stanford. So don't even ask him though. Don't even ask him either.
I thought maybe he would be.
No, he's not. He's not biased.
Or unbiased.
Unbiased. He's very biased about the Pac-12.
I'm just trying to look if I.
Although you look at the Pac-12 and look at how many 2-loss teams they have, or better.
I honestly think NC State and USC are probably the 2 best teams out of it. Sam Darnold looked terrific this past Saturday.
I'm glad that Washington State has dropped right out, though.
They'll be right
they should
back
have never been in there.
Why not?
Yeah, after this week.
If you're so high on USC, why aren't you giving Washington State credit for beating them?
Because they got killed by California. Killed. They barely beat USC. That's it. We're dead. I hear him. I hear him coming. You probably still have Washington State ahead of fucking USC somewhere, somehow.
I don't.
Surprised you even have USC in your top 25 at this point. Honestly.
All the way at 19. Show me something.
What do you mean?
The USC needs to show me something. They got the schedule to show me something, so we'll see. They have Arizona next. So primetime TV.
They'll win.
Arizona made the poll.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody had them in there, I think, except for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I included Arizona because they've beaten tough teams.
Well, that's
because they beat Washington State, so you figured you had to throw them in there.
They beat Washington State. They beat Cal by 1. I mean, there's not a bad loss on their resume.
Yeah, Washington State's going to beat.
Well, who are their 2 losses to?
Hold on.
I still refuse to put LSU in my top 25. I'm the only one that won't put them in there. I will not. Will you lose to Troy? No, I don't think so.
They lost to Utah, who was 20.
If LSU competes with Alabama,
Kevin has them high.
Yeah, I know he does. 'Cause he's high on fucking edibles or something. What the fuck he's doing over there? High in that West Coast air.
It's legal over there.
I know.
Whoa.
Probably had a pot farm on fire that fucking blew smoke up towards his way, and he just got fucking high and was like, "Yeah, LSU."
Says
17th.
Says the
Top
guy
15.
that's got Miami at 5.
Okay, they're undefeated, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think I do too, actually.
Yep. So does Cory.
Mm-hmm.
and Joe has him at 6, and you have him at 7. So you act like that's like a ridiculous thing. Like,
All right, you threw in Boise State. Why'd you throw Boise State in there?
I wanted to put them in, I think, last week, and I didn't put them in. But now I felt like this was a good week to put them in. Because they beat somebody. I can't remember who they beat the week before. And I was like, ooh, I want to put them in, but I didn't.
I don't even know what conference they play in.
The Mountain West, right? Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh,
I just might know.
you mean the team that lost to Washington State and Virginia?
Okay. And who? Virginia.
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. That's a good team.
42-23. They did beat San Diego State. That's the good team.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm pretty sure.
That's when I wanted to put them in.
That was 3 weeks ago, though. They've since beat Wyoming by 10 and Utah State by 20, 30 something.
Solid wins.
You got to beat who's on your schedule.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's Philly.
That's right.
And let's go to the picks for this week. I threw Washington State versus Stanford. Since Stefan's high on Stanford and I'm high on Wazoo, according to him. Cory's taking Washington State with me. Joe went with Stanford.
Can't wait for you both to just fucking, I don't know.
I just feel like Mike Leach has another one in him.
Yeah. He's got to have one more just to piss Stefan off.
I don't think so. Stanford's just too good.
Yeah.
Am I the only one? No, me and
You've
Joe.
been hating on them since they were, what, like 1 and 2?
Yeah, when they're 1 and 2.
And they've won every game since then.
Yeah.
So. And you still don't give them any love.
Because they haven't beaten anyone.
Now look at all the 2-loss teams in the top 25. There's a whole shitload of them. But all these teams have more recent losses.
Yeah, but who's Stanford beaten? Can you tell me?
Not off the top of my head, no. But I know they've beaten decent teams.
Wow. They both went with Virginia Tech over Miami. In Miami?
Let's see here. They've beat, since losing to USC, San Diego State, they've lost, or they've won against UCLA, Arizona State, Utah. I'll give you Utah, Oregon, and then they squeaked one out against Oregon State, who's 1 and 7.
That Oregon State, yeah, that's not an impressive win. I give you that.
And that's just last week?
That was just last week.
That's why
everybody has a bad game.
Well, that's why I didn't move them from last week either.
Who'd Washington State beat last week, though?
They lost.
They lost.
To who?
Arizona, right?
Oh, Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
That's why Kevin had to put him high up in his top 25 because he's so high in Washington State. So he's like, well, I got to balance this out somehow. Let me throw Arizona up there. Now, like, looks like Arizona's really good. So it's like, oh, it's understandable that Washington State lost to that.
I got it.
It's a 6-2 team.
Huh?
Arizona's a 6-2 team.
Yeah, so is Boise State.
Yeah, so
you're hating on Boise State.
I don't know why you have an issue with it. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. Because you came after me, so I'm going after you. I had no issues with your top 25. I was searching. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. Stefan and I actually agree. Oklahoma State. Actually, I don't agree. I just went with Oklahoma State because I saw you did Oklahoma State, and I was like, fuck it. That way I can't. Fuck it.
That makes no sense. I don't really agree, but I saw you picked him, so I was like, fuck it. I'm going to pick him too.
That way you can't one-up me on everything.
Block you. The black thing.
Oh, the black. But the other two he picked opposite.
Yeah.
He had to block you on one.
So he had to make sure he at least got one right.
Yeah.
That was the goal.
Or one wrong, however you want to look at it. Miami, Virginia Tech. Joe and I went with Virginia Tech. You guys are going with Miami and their lackluster offense. Hopefully defense wins you that game. Oh.
I'm not impressed by Virginia Tech, so.
I went to the Utah-Oregon game this past weekend. Posted some pictures on our Facebook
Party.
page. My stadium. Yeah, I also went to a frat party. That was interesting. Must say I am 30 years old.
Dude, I still live like I'm 21.
Yeah. My stadium experience. Stefan, you didn't rate the Ralph either. Is it a?
I don't know. I've just been there so many times. Like I don't even know.
Do you
how
give
to
it
rate
1 or 2 thumbs up or down?
I mean,
1 up.
tailgating wise, I give it a thumbs up. Stadium wise, I think it's a little behind in the days. I think it could use some updates, so I'll give it a thumb down on the stadium itself.
My experience down in Eugene, fan experience and everything, I'm giving a thumbs up. Stadium itself, a thumbs down. Felt like I was climbing Mount Everest to get to my seats. Never been up such a steep scaled stadium before.
Well, isn't that like how the dome is?
No, this
Even
was
steeper than that?
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Damn.
It did not make me want to go to the bathroom at any point. I just held it on. And not to mention, I think there's 6 speakers in the whole stadium at one end zone. They're like those big ass DJ speakers that you see at weddings and such. Sound quality, not the greatest. No real high.
I feel like with how much they get from Nike and stuff, like why is their stadium not like top of the line?
It's I don't know.
Because their uniforms are.
Just won't let go, maybe, of past.
Maybe they did the basketball arena first. Now that they're going to do.
I mean, their indoor practice facility from the outside looks nice. So maybe that's what they're sinking their money to. The players don't care about the stands.
Yeah.
It was quite loud. It's not the loudest stadium I've ever been into. I mean, in comparison to a dome stadium, I guess it's kind of unfair. It did get up to 100 decibels, so it's pretty loud.
Did they win in that game?
They did.
Yeah.
They won 40. I left the page. Son of a bitch. I don't know. I left with like 5 minutes left because it was in hand. $41-20. So Oregon's playing in Seattle this weekend against Washington. I was gonna try and go to the game, but $80 a ticket for 2 teams I don't have a preference of.
Should have gone.
Should have gone.
Do it for the podcast, man.
I'm watching UFC. Priorities.
Yeah, I guess you could watch UFC and the game at the same time.
Yeah. While wearing Oregon stuff around a whole bunch of Washington fans.
Yeah.
Because I'm that guy.
You're that guy.
All right, Cory, you're up next with your amazing run in fantasy this week.
Why, with my win in NASCAR?
Yeah.
Not only did I pick the best driver, but he won the race.
Finally.
It's 2 weeks in a row that I picked the winner.
You trying to tell us something?
Yeah, that I'm going to make it 3 in a row.
Oh, yeah? you want to put a side bet on that?
No. I'm not that confident. Just happy with 2 in a row. Interesting race. Not really on Kyle Busch's part. He obviously, with a 58, he was 2 points shy of being in the lead the whole race. So he pretty much dominated. But what was going on behind him, there was some controversy with Chase Elliott was actually on they were on a restart. Chase Elliott was probably going to win the race. He had the fastest car. And Denny Hamlin got up behind him and tried to do a bump and move around, and he decided to bump him on a turn, which is a no-no with all the drivers. You aren't supposed to do that. And he spun him right into the wall on purpose, absolutely on purpose. And at this point in the chase, if you crash, you're pretty much out unless you can get a win. So they got into an heated discussion in the pits, had to be pulling apart from each other. Denny Hamlin's excuse was, this is racing. He's with the big boys now. It's the chase. This is how we do things. And Chase Elliott's response was, "That's dirty racing. That shouldn't be how you do things. That's how people get hurt. That's also how Earnhardt died." So, I guess depending on how you see it, do you go all out because you're trying to win a championship, or do you realize that you're going 190 miles per hour and people's lives are on the line? Either way, Elliott is an interesting pick by Stefan because now Elliott has got to race his ass off because he has to win a race to make it to the chase. There's no other way. So he's guns a-blazing at this point.
Fucking go. It's just like me, guns a-blazing all the time.
And Ryan Blaney, I see Kevin picked, who's really good on the fast tracks. This is a bigger track. Blaney should do well, and that's exactly why I picked Keselowski, because he's the same way.
Blaney is just outside of the final four, so that's why I picked him.
Yeah.
Hoping.
I just figured Keselowski raced so well last week. As you can see, you got a 53 out of him. He needs a win. Probably will go for a win. And I would think Texas is where he's going.
Who's in the final four right now?
Pull the trigger.
If it was to be...
Well, Kyle Busch is automatically in.
He's the only one.
Yep. And then right now it would be Keselowski, Harvick, and...
I feel like Johnson.
Jimmy. I think he's right. I think it's Jimmy. Hold on, folks.
Holding on.
Truex, excuse me. It would be Truex, Kyle Busch.
I was going to say, I didn't look.
Oh, it is. They just don't have it in order. It would be Truex, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, and Jimmy Johnson. With 445. With Harvick and Blaney on the outside looking in.
Jeez, it's not even that far out.
No. Harvick's best race is Phoenix. He wins there 50% of the time. I think he's kind of banking on that. So that could be interesting. But I think I looked and we all used Harvick. So we don't get a chance at using him at Phoenix.
Yeah, we all used Harvick.
He's probably going to pull the trigger and get a win there and put himself in. So my guess would be that we're going to see Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. And I don't know. Something tells me Jimmy's just going to make it because it's Jimmy Johnson.
I was the only one not to get anything from Harvick, too.
He crashed, right, when you took him?
Stefan got 47, you got 52.
That's what opened it up for us to get back in.
If you look at it, too, we all took Jimmy Johnson, and he's doing well in the chase, but none of us got a lot from him. A 34, a 23, a 29.
Yeah. Keselowski has done Stefan and I good, so maybe he'll have a faulty game, Stefan.
Let's hope so.
The standings.
While he's down.
Stefan was up in first last week. He's back down in second after this past week. Didn't get your chance to brag.
I'll be back.
I was 93 down. I pulled myself within 21. I'm happy.
You're there. You're in now.
I'm now up to 350-point racers, so
yep.
Maybe mine can continue.
You're the hit or miss, so you're due for a miss.
Yeah, due for a miss. Look at right after the 50s, he gets
a
2, a 14.
Now we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be in the teens or less, my guess.
Our problem is, though, for the next 2 races, we don't have much.
Yeah.
I still have Kyle Busch.
The only thing I was going to throw at you guys that in my other fantasy league it is done is after Phoenix, the top people that are in our fantasy league, the top 4 people get it goes to a redraft, and you get to, the person who's in first place gets to pick what driver they want to do first, then second place, then third, then fourth. So you essentially would each pick a driver that's in the finals that's actually racing for the championship. I was going to run that by you guys if you wanted to do that way, or you just want to keep on picking drivers all the way to the end.
I mean, it's really more up to you guys. I'm fine with it. I'm in first place, so.
For this week, relax.
Standing
so fine
pretty.
with just picking drivers the rest of the way out?
No, like doing
the redraft.
Redraft. That way
Okay.
we can make it
That
more
way.
interesting in the final two.
That's
races.
why it's done that way. That way, most likely, we're going to pick
That
between
way,
Truex, Kyle Busch, and Jimmy, or whoever's in there.
That
We'll
way
pick one of
we're
those three.
not picking someone that's just lame back.
Exactly, because we're all getting down there. I see.
Mhm.
So I was going to run that by you guys if you want to try to do that.
Yeah, that's
So okay, for Miami, we will do the redraft.
All right. And premier picks. Corey's impressive streak of losses continues. Thanks, Cory, for jinxing my team.
I don't know why you picked what I picked.
Harry Kane was out.
You picked Chelsea this week.
Because I know who's going to lose.
Come on, dude.
Harry Kane was out, so Man U took advantage and won 1-0. This week, it's Chelsea versus Man U, so basically second and third, I believe, again. That's why I picked it. Corey's picking Chelsea 2-0, so sorry, Stefan, your 3-1 pick isn't going to come through.
I'm going to cut it this week.
I'm surprised Cory hasn't picked Manchester since week 1. He's had a couple opportunities and still not going with United.
I think at this point, he's specifically trying to pick the team that's going to lose.
All right. And anything you guys want to talk about happened this past week in NBA? Cory, I know you...
It was pretty boring. Nothing happened, right?
I know Draymond Green made the news again.
Nice little brawl. It was interesting.
I think the Golden State Warriors in general are interesting. They're 4-3.
If we're going to talk about that, can we talk about Cleveland?
More than welcome to. They're awful too.
I didn't even realize this, but it was pointed out on ESPN today that they are the oldest team in the league. Even San Antonio is younger than them, which never happens.
And it's the second time in LeBron's career that he's been on a losing team, and the only other time was his rookie season.
Can we all agree that LeBron's out after this year?
I told you he's going to the Lakers.
He's not going to the Lakers, dude. I will bet anything he doesn't go to the
Anything.
Lakers. Anything. I'll bet you my house.
Perfect. Something you don't have.
Detroit Pistons are in the lead in the Eastern Conference along with the Wizards, followed by the Celtics.
The Wizards are a tough team to figure out. They play well some nights and then they don't others.
The Wizards is my sleeper team.
Yeah, they were your sleeper. My sleeper was the Bucks. They're 4-2, but I still think they need Jabari Parker back to, I think, really make noise. Giannis is obviously the front runner for MVP. Only a couple weeks in, but he's playing well.
Giannis.
Okay, and Antetokounmpo is playing very well. That's easier to say, obviously.
Sounds it. And then in the Western, Memphis is 5-1, Clippers 4-1, Rockets 5-2, Trailblazers 4-2.
Trailblazers, they'd be undefeated if they didn't have. No, the Rockets would be undefeated if they didn't have to play Memphis. That's their only losses.
Spurs are 4-2.
Yeah, Memphis is a surprise team.
Big game tonight, Celtics Spurs going on right now.
That is a big game.
Lakers are 2-4.
So let's wrap this up so I can go watch it.
The Spurs after this week get Leonard back. Then it really.
Oh, good. He's not even playing tonight.
Oh, then it really gets interesting.
Easy win tonight.
Spurs are for real. Memphis is for real, and the surprise team out in the East is the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, I don't know where the hell they came from. I don't even know who's on the team.
No one.
I honestly can't name a single person on that team.
Nobody knows what's going on over there, but they're winning games.
It's going to be a I don't know. I heard somebody talking today saying, like, Cleveland doesn't even worry about the regular season. Well, you got to worry about the regular season if you're not going to make the playoffs. So
A little bit.
you might want to pay attention.
You have to worry a little bit.
Usually you don't, but when you are not winning games, you might.
I think Cleveland at least expected to win 50 games, so they have an uphill battle to try to get there.
And then this is the earliest that Golden State's had 3 losses since like 2013, 2014, I think I said.
The only thing about Golden State is their defense is horrific this year. Their offense is still good, but they can't stop anybody. So that doesn't bode well. And Cleveland can't score.
What if neither Golden State or Cleveland make the finals this year? That's a possibility.
I think that'd be fun. I'm kind of over the whole Golden State Cleveland thing.
Yeah.
3 years in a row, I'm good with it.
I don't think it's the same hype for it this year.
Well, I think
Cleveland took a big step back.
I was going to say, but I think a lot of people think Golden State was going to walk away with this season in the championship, and Cleveland had, who cared, Cleveland or Boston, or it doesn't matter who makes it. They're not going to beat them. But now people are like, oh, maybe Golden State isn't.
They might not make it out of the West. I think with the West loading up like they did, it makes it a lot.
I know we didn't even mention OKC. They're 3-3. They're kind of struggling to find their way.
But it's going to take, it's like any team coming together. It takes a little bit. Once they gel, they'll be all right. Rockets, they'll be okay.
Rockets just need Chris Paul back.
Hey, the Sixers have 2 wins, and they're both away.
Yeah. The Sixers, I mean, it's the process. I had projected them as a playoff team. They aren't looking like one. But Ben Simmons is playing well. Maybe Rookie of the Year. You got to, like I was telling Stefan, this is a really deep, strong rookie class. You got a lot of guys in the running for Rookie of the Year early. Lonzo Ball's playing well. Dennis Smith Jr. is back with Dallas. He's playing well. There was a couple other ones. There's like 5 rookies playing at a high level. Jason Tatum's playing at a good level. I haven't followed what De'Aaron Fox and Josh Jackson are doing.
Fox, some of the highlights I've seen have been ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know how he actually does throughout the whole game, but I've seen some highlight plays. He's legit.
I'm assuming Josh Jackson isn't playing well because Phoenix is so awful.
Yeah, I haven't really seen much about him.
Again, De'Aaron Fox. There's even some others. Those aren't the ones that I meant. Karis LeVert is one, playing really well for Brooklyn. He was a prospect out of Michigan, likened to Jamal Crawford. Very similar. So it's interesting here.
It'll be interesting.
And we didn't even mention your boy Zach Collins, who's rebounding well.
Is he?
For Portland. Portland is leading the league in rebounds too. So.
Rip City.
Yep.
Rip City.
That's why they have a good record.
We gotta start following them more.
Are you guys okay? Is someone coming up your stairs?
I mean, this mixed in with the gunshots outside, I'm a little worried.
What's a warning next time, man? Jesus.
All right, sneak this in for our top 5 this week. Least favorite Halloween candy.
I think we should go around in a circle.
Round in circle?
Yeah. Not like everyone gets their 1 through 5 right away.
Not like a circle jerk.
Only if we each get to hold the other one.
Always comes back to jerking people off at this podcast. I didn't even include that in the intro this week.
All right, who's leading it off?
All right, I'll lead it off. Number 5, Necco wafers.
I actually like those.
I don't even know what those are.
They are
Apparently
thin-
I'm not.
thin-
He hates them.
Well, I love them.
thin, bland candy. Since 1847.
So are we doing? I do mine this way.
Yeah.
I mean, does it? Can you just? Is it anything that you get at Halloween, or is it actual candy?
That's
Anything
fine.
at Halloween?
Anything you get at Halloween.
I'll say number 5 would be like pretzels. Like, why are you handing out pretzels? Like, I want some good chocolate. Don't give me your fucking pretzels.
My number 5 is Three Musketeers. I just think
How
they're
do you
boring.
hate Three Musketeers?
Because they're bland. There's nothing.
They're fluffy and
bland.
delicious.
There's chocolate and nougat.
Yeah.
And deliciousness.
And nougat is good.
I just don't like them.
Number 4, candy corn.
You're an asshole.
Not a fan of candy corn.
You're an asshole.
That's
Unless-
always voted, though, the least favorite Halloween
I love
candy.
candy corn.
So do I. But
Although,
obviously people do. They still make
although I have found a new kind that I like, so maybe that's why they're 4. They're not number 1 for
Maybe
me.
it's coming back.
Yeah, maybe it's coming back.
Maybe come back.
But if I'm on a shelf, I'm looking at a shelf, or looking at my keep from Halloween night, I'm mad at having candy corn because I already have candy corn at home.
You got it at home.
All right,
They don't want more of it.
Nope.
Number 4 for you.
Number 4. I'm gonna go with a Tootsie Roll.
How
Not a big
dare
fan of
you?
Tootsie Roll. Not a big fan of Tootsie Roll.
They're up higher on my list.
Not a big fan.
They are deliciousness.
Boring. It's just chocolate.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking.
And it's chewy as shit.
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
chewy as shit.
That's the best part.
No, it's worse. It's stuck in your teeth
Yeah.
for like a fucking day because I
Then
don't
you-
brush my teeth.
Then you
Well,
look like it's
maybe
part
if
of
you brush your
Halloween
teeth.
costume with rotten teeth. Number 4 for me is Smarties. I hate Smarties.
They're an honorable mention for me, so okay.
They're just like circular sugar. There's nothing to them.
It's kind of like a sweeter Necco wafer.
They're supposed
basically.
to taste different too, and they all taste the fucking same.
I
Yeah.
don't think they're supposed to taste different.
They are. They're color different.
Okay, just because they're color different don't mean they taste different.
They're supposed to taste
No,
different.
they aren't.
Corey, just so you know, a Necco wafer is basically a bland Smartie or sweet.
The wafers are way better.
No, they aren't.
You would love a Necco wafer.
Number 3, one of my most hated things I ever got on Halloween is a fucking apple. It's candy time, not fruit. Not to mention,
I've never actually gotten an apple, but I've heard of people getting
yeah,
apples.
I got them. And not to mention, I was never allowed to eat it because my parents feared that some weirdo
There's a
stuck
razor
a
in it? Yeah.
razor or
Yeah.
needle.
My parents used to fucking. I couldn't eat any of my candy until they looked it over that night.
Yeah, looked it
So
over.
The next day, I was allowed. Yeah, AKA steal all the good stuff.
Ah.
Number 3 for me. Let's say Swedish fish. Not a big fan of Swedish fish.
I can see why you don't like them.
Too chewy.
I like how we have yet to run
They're
into
as
a
chewy as a
repeat.
Tootsie Roll.
I think they're more chewy than a Tootsie Roll.
They're more chewy. They
They
like
are more chewy.
No, they're less.
Yeah, they're way more chewy.
because they're like gooey and
They just like you have to like dig in. You gotta get like some good.
you have to
floss
eat
going.
another Swedish fish just to get the previous one out of your teeth.
Yeah, that's no fun. 'Cause you don't even want another Swedish fish after the first one.
I love them. They're my second favorite.
I don't mind them, but I can see
Um,
why you don't like them.
Tootsie Rolls are number 3 for me, for the same reasons as said before.
Our first repeat. Wow. Number 2 for me. It's kind of a tie between these two because they're pretty much the same. Almond Joys, Mounds. Get that nasty shit out of here.
Get out of here. No, you get out of here. The candy can stay.
I love almond joy.
I love them too.
Gross. I hate coconut.
I love coconut. Love coconut.
Me too.
I'll just eat a straight coconut. Give me a coconut for Halloween. I'll just fucking crack that shit open.
Yeah, like it's that easy.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to crack one?
I cracked one just like that before. Swear to God. One time when I was in Florida, they got coconuts down there right up the tree.
Please, God, don't strike us now.
Please, guy with gun.
There you go.
Oh, number 2. Go with the old Hershey Kiss. Not really a big fan.
Just a little chocolate drop.
Yeah. I want a kiss. I want a real one. Put your tongue in there.
Jesus. This guy. Number 2, I got the good old dum-dums. I hate dum-dums.
Dum-dums.
Dum-dums? How do you guys hate dum-dums?
Because they're little ass suckers.
Yeah.
I just pluck them right off the stick.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best part. They have
hate
great
them.
flavors.
I was thinking of something different.
I don't like dum-dums.
What's another thing? What's that D?
I don't know, man.
I hate when I get dick for Halloween.
It's the worst.
Sorry, this took a weird turn.
So we know Stefan's number 1. So mine is actually candy. Whoppers. Malted milk balls.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those.
Grossness.
Solid pick.
Would he say Whoppers? This is number 1?
Not a big fan.
I like them all. It's a lot of them.
My number 1.
You know, Cory, I think our Halloween bags as kids would have made each other happy. I would have given you my bag.
Hey, you take this.
We would have been
I'll take your
perfect
shit.
brothers.
My number 1, contrary to popular belief, is not dick. But...
You're the one that said it.
Although I do not want dick for Halloween.
Making that clear.
Making that clear. Theoretically, that would be my number 1 if I ever got it. Okay, but my number 1 would have to be black licorice.
Have you ever gotten that?
Black licorice for Halloween?
I've never gotten it for Halloween.
Me either.
Not for Halloween, I don't think. If I ever got it for Halloween, I wouldn't want it. Just like that.
Yeah, just like that.
Right. Black.
But a little more possible of maybe.
Black, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely way more possibility of
the licorice.
Pulling out some black licorice instead of pulling out a dick. Oh, dick to the face. No, that ain't happening, probably.
I don't know. Apparently in your neighborhood, anything's possible.
Well,
true.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities in this neighborhood.
My number 1 is milk duds. I don't like milk duds.
Those are chewy as fuck.
So good.
I don't like them.
You don't like chewy things, huh?
It sticks to your teeth. It's just like, it just ruins the whole moment for me. I'm just like, this is just awful.
I'm just, whenever I get them, I'm just not excited.
Yeah.
I'm like, eh.
I think, though, like, I always try to give it a chance. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe this time I'm going to like milk duds.
Chocolate and caramel.
And I like, you know, maybe I'll just suck on it for a while. Let it, like,
soften
a little bit.
Oh, my God. This is pause. Pause.
Because if you suck on it and it gets hot, like, don't let it get hard. But you just suck on it, wait till it gets soft,
and maybe it'll taste better.
And then go to town.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's just setting me up for next week.
Usually at that point, though, like, you're just not into it anymore. Like, it's soft, and you're just like, it's been in my mouth too long, and I'm just over it. Right?
I think I've got a new intro for Stefan, so this is working out great.
I don't even put it in my mouth. I don't even put it in my mouth. No?
You just
like I said, when I get it, I'm like, eh.
You just, like, lick the tip? Like,
no.
Tease your lips? What do you do with it?
Just nothing. Throw it away.
You don't even take it out of the box.
No, I curve the shit out of it.
Curve the shit out of it. My man.
So what's our favorite? Just real quick. Not our top 5 favorite, just our favorite.
Go with
anyone have?
The good old Snickers bar.
That's your favorite?
For Halloween, yeah. I always was excited about getting those in my bag.
Mine's peanut butter cups.
I was just gonna say I'm a peanut butter guy. I like Reese's. That's why we're bros.
I think it was also nice because usually I got the Snickers from the one place you stopped at that had the king size. So
I didn't live in that good of a neighborhood.
That wasn't a good neighborhood, actually. It was the far back, and they were like, "Oh shit, Halloween's tonight. All we got is this."
Is he talking about your neighborhood?
The one kid. No, I'm talking about something else where I grew up.
I was talking about the Knolls.
No. there was no king size in the Knolls.
Not king size candy, anyways.
You were lucky if you. Sometimes you'd walk up there and they'd turn off the light. You'd be like, no, go back. We couldn't afford candy this year.
Oh,
Shit,
crap.
I
It's
guess
Halloween. Why did we turn the lights on?
I think actually my parents took us to like a rich neighborhood one time. We just walked around.
Just so you can see what that felt like?
Yeah. We're like, look at all these huge candy bars.
This is how the other side lives.
Now remember, this is not where you belong. You'll never be living this life. Thanks, Mom and Dad. You're the best.
You guys got any favorite Halloween songs? Because I was playing a playlist earlier, and there was like, "Don't Fear the Reaper." I was like, "What? How is this a Halloween song?"
I feel like there's not that many Halloween, like specific Halloween songs.
Yeah, no.
Corey and I mentioned last week that MJ, the greatest probably Halloween song, Thriller. That's about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does get played on Halloween, but I don't think he like made it for Halloween.
It's just,
I'm sure,
yeah,
you know?
like my favorite Halloween song would probably be the Boogeyman song in Nightmare Before Christmas. But it's not really a Halloween song. But it's played on Halloween.
Mine would be the Monster Mash.
Yeah.
Which
is an actual Halloween song. No getting around that.
It was a graveyard smash.
Just wait till Christmas. I will literally. I'm going to spend a good 15 minutes just serenading you guys.
November 1st, Sirius XM starts their holiday channels.
You cut me off. I'm going to be serenading you guys with Christmas songs for a good 15 minutes. That's going to be my segment.
You'll be dreaming of a white Christmas.
Stefan's White Christmas. Volume 1.
It'd sound just like that.
Creaking? Silence? No. You haven't heard me sing a good Christmas carol.
Silent Night.
Silent Night. That's right.
Oh, we have contact with Ben since his phone died.
Tell Ben he can go to hell.
Corey, to your question, he said that they will both laugh and begin continuing their money. Or counting their money, sorry. Wow, maybe I've had too much to drink.
Oh, like McGregor and Floyd?
Yeah. GSP will continue if he wins. I think Bisping retires, win or lose. So I think we're in agreement there. Win or lose, Bisping's last fight is this Saturday.
News flash, by the way. Floyd Mayweather back in the gym training hard. Rumor is could be another go-round.
Jesus.
With the Irishman. Yeah. They made too much money, man. They need another one.
Oh, never mind about that Dwayne Brown from the Texans because Seahawks got him. So I guess that's out of the picture.
That one's gone. Anything else before we go?
The only other thing is in heavyweight boxing, Anthony Joshua fought this past weekend, took care of business. This weekend, Deontay Wilder, the other best heavyweight fights. If he takes care of business, we could look at the two best heavyweights in the world fighting each other at the beginning of 2018. That could be exciting.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants to see is the heavyweights. So
I'm excited for that.
They're both huge. It'd be finally two guys the same size, both in shape.
Tom Park huge? Tom Park huge?
Yeah.
Not that huge.
Oh. Damn.
One 6'7", like 230. The other 6'6", 250. They're big boys.
Maybe Fusillo huge.
Huge. Ow. Sorry. Bless my own ears out there. Next week, the return of college basketball.
Are we doing our top 25 next week?
Yeah, because college basketball starts November 10th.
Beautiful.
My birthday. Perfect.
We've got a good amount of people for our top 25.
All right, send the invites out. I sent you guys the polls. Corey's already filled his out and pissed off Stefan about it. So
guess what? I've already filled mine out too.
I've got my number one done.
Yeah, we saw that.
Did I see you?
No. No.
SC will crack his top 25 somehow.
No, it's not because I don't even. No, I looked at the roster and I was like, oh, I know that guy and that guy. Who are these other players? So yeah, they're not making my top 25 this year.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
It's alright. I'll make Gary's or Sean's. I'm sure.
No.
Probably Gary's.
Who do
Sean usually is a little more realistic about things.
Frank Howard,
gonna
baby.
Just post the ESPN Step 25 verbatim.
I don't know. I got Gary, Sean, and Ryan. Well, I got all three of them.
All right, and we have Joe as well.
Joe
So
also.
we're gonna have quite the diversity.
That's a good, what, 7?
Yeah.
That'll make it interesting.
Hopefully less ties.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we'll probably have an hour preview. We'll try and keep NFL and everything else short, since everything else is winding down as well.
NFL short.
Yeah, can't keep NFL short. I think we need to extend it.
Or we could have a 3-hour podcast. Who knows?
Could do that too.
Until next time. I've been told this is not cool still, but it's always cool. Hold on, you guys aren't on screen yet. Alright, go ahead. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. Later.